Good morning. I hope you've had a restful night. I want to say a few things. Number one, I think it's time we start having a dialogue. We need to have a dialogue with ourselves as Kenyans. And we need to have a policy. We need to have a policy for foreigners who are coming to Kenya. And that cannot be done in the streets. That can only be done in Parliament. So I am asking the members of Parliament, I am asking the Speaker of both houses to come up with proper legislation on foreigners who are working in Kenya, whether they are from East Africa or the rest of Africa, and also foreigners who come from abroad, outside Africa. Let me give an example. In China, and that's where I'm living at the moment, if you're a foreigner and you go to the bank, you can only transact $500 a day. You can only convert $500 a day. But a Chinese can convert $5,000. So what has happened is the Chinese government has made Chinese people rich. Why? Because whenever you think about going to the bank, you must have a Chinese person or Chinese people so that they can help you convert your money from renminbis to dollars, or from whatever currency to dollars, because we know the dollar is the international currency. Secondly, you cannot own a business as a foreigner in China unless 50% of the business is owned by a local partner. So what that means is, whether you like it or not, if you're thinking of having a business here, you must think about partnership. You must think about co-ownership. Thirdly, if you have a business here, you must employ Chinese people. In other words, foreigners cannot do, jobs that the local people can do. For example, you would never find a foreigner as a waiter. You will never find a foreigner. You will never find a foreigner doing, like selling stuff like clothes, or maybe even, I think you understand, you will never find a foreigner like, driving a taxi or whatever, this private conveyors for hire. But that work is reserved for the Chinese people. So what does that mean? That means that the economy is predominantly in the hands of Chinese people. So a foreigner can own a business, okay, and maybe you can do special stuff like maybe tattoo, but you can never do the work that can be done by a Chinese person. But we find in Kenya that we have allowed foreigners to come, and there are no rules. Like, we have not defined what it is that a Kenyan can do that a foreigner cannot do. And because of that, we are failing. So when you listen to people like Njagua, of course, his language is wrong. But when you listen to him saying foreigners to Tawapiga, to Tawashika, it is because of that anger, because we have not defined the law. And until the law is defined for the foreigner, and they know their limit, they will continue to, to smile all the way to the bank. So when Trump said in America that, like the Chinese are smiling all the way to the bank, he's right. Because the rules were not very clear. There were so many concessions given. And remember, United States is a very big country. So it gave a lot of concessions to foreigners, or to Chinese, to Indians, to whatever, so that they can come and do business there, and so that they can have their plants overseas. A small country like Kenya should not just give concessions without having clear rules to guide those concessions. If you say that East Africans can come to Kenya with no reciprocity, Africans can come to Kenya with no reciprocity, that's okay. But please define what they cannot do that Kenyans can do. I think that's clear.